Hey Woodturners, I'm Captain Eddie Castle. I've got a great project. Welcome to the shop. We're going to turn a simple platter, bowl, plate, trinket, jar, box, container. Okay, I'm trying to think of other things. Everything I've mentioned can get this technique. Everything. And once you learn how to do it, and once you learn how to perfect it, which is really easy, then you're going to like this technique. What I'm talking about is making it basket looking. Yeah, look at this. Now, that is a plate or a platter I just turned. And you see the basket design that's on it? Those were done with markers. The actual cutting done with beading tools. And I'd like to say this was really simple to learn, but it has a learning curve to it. But better than that, you know what I'm going to do next? I'm going to show you, because you're going to watch. The basis for this entire design is right here. These rings are ridges. And if you do one right, it'll be on the back side too. But remember, this is a prototype piece. This is way, way too thick. I'm going to put it in a Longworth chuck, reduce a whole lot of meat potatoes back here, and get this thing thinned up so it'll go on the wall later. But the rings are done with a beading tool from Dave at D-Way Tools. A beading tool has got a, let me see, get you in position. You might be able to see that that's got a groove in it right there. And that groove matches up to this groove. So while the platter is spinning, and once you have it designed, you're going to run these rings. Now, I use two different size tools. I used a 3/16 and a 1/8. And I put a large one on the outside edge, and then I put a handful of them going down. I want to tell you that it's simple to plan this, but planning will make it or break it. This is 48 sections. Now, if you want to do more sections, you can, but my automatic indexer on my one-way has 48 sections available to it right off the bat. And I'll show you how I did that. But I think it looked better with 60 or 72 or whatever. And you can do that with using a template that's got, you can, oh no, man, you can't even see that. But this is free graph paper off the internet. And it's got spaces. And unfortunately, this one's got 48 spaces. But they have them up to 108 or more. Alright, so we have the lines. We put the grooves in, and I'm going to go over this again over on a lathe. But you turn the platter, and then you decide how many of these rings you need. How many? Alright, let's talk about that for a second. If I need this pattern to repeat. So I decided it would repeat every 6 would be a repeat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Has to be divisible into the amount of sections you have. Okay? That's important. Now, if I only put 5 rings and I had 48 sections, I couldn't do this pattern or any other pattern that would be kind of revolving and repeating with any fluid design. So I have to draw this thing out on a piece of sketch paper before I get done, and that's where the graph paper comes in. And you just take your little marker and you put a dot where you want it at, and you design a nice one. If you want to see some beautiful work, David Nittman out of Colorado has got some beautiful work. In fact, Davis works on the back cover of the a very recent edition of the American Woodturner. All right, now I decided to have 6 rings down here and a border ring that was a larger size, so that my 6 into 8, all right, 6 times 8, 48. All right, got that? Now, once I had these in, and I'll show you how I did the lines on it, then I took a burning tool with a very small straight edge, and I burned the lines. So I established a basket weave in this direction. So we have this line here going. We've already cut this line, and I'll show you a few tricks on that. And then I get out the pens and I start coloring, and these are all markers from the art store. This prismatic color, Faber-Castell, prismatic, and Prisma color. All right, these are brush tips, small, because I need to get way down into that crack and still cover the rest of it. You'll need to play with that. I don't think you'll find happiness with a Sharpie on this. You won't find happiness with a pencil on this. And then sealing it, well, we're gonna try sealing that before we get this thing finished. So, let's see if we get it. We shape the plate. We put the rings. I'll show you a couple of tricks on laying it out. We burned it. Then we colored it, and then we're going to seal it. Wow. By Jove, I think you have it. I put it back in a machine and did a few touch-ups. So I'm going to look over here now and see that this red, when I touched it up, I lost some of it. Go all the way around and detail the piece out. Whoop, I got you out of camera. This little brush tip, this is a Prismacolor brush tip, works really, really nice for doing this. And only do one color at a time. Don't fool around with trying to, I'll take a red and I'll do a line of blue. No. Keeping your sanity is very critical during this. And this thing will make you think you've went crazy. Okay, got that red done. Then you look through and go by one pattern, and look through the whole thing and see if you have any other holidays in the red. There's a little spot over there that's shining a little bit. Look through the whole thing on the reds and make sure you caught them all. Then put that one away. Now this is the brush tip. See that mark on the end, that B? There you go. The B, that means brush. Prismacolor, I found about 15 colors at the store yesterday. They were under $3 a piece. And I've done 2 projects and it seems like they're holding up all right. Now, we get the blue. I made sure there's a stopping line down there on the blue, so I don't just go into Never Never Land and try to line this up. And again, you don't want to go crazy with it. And by the way, a little color goes a very long way. A whole lot of color might get a little confusing. Too much color and you lose the pattern. Okay? You follow along with me. You're just trying to accent the piece. I've got plans to do this on a couple of other designs. But in order to do that, I'd had to get one done and get the technique down. So here's the deal. Chuck up an ugly piece of wood and cut it. Get your beads in, get your layout done and all that. Then get a pretty piece of wood. And look, on the side, I hadn't finished detailing these out to the stop point. Now what do you do if you touch it and you got to get the color off? I have no idea. I didn't do that. I'm working the studio grade lighting. Management wants to know if I can find pink. I can see you doing this on a plate or a platter. Can you imagine if we did it around the outside of a jar or a bowl or a piece like this? Just take the whole thing and put the beads all the way around it. Put your lines all the way down it. Then go and have a little fun with color. Oh, and by the way, there are no gang colors in this program, so you don't have to worry about offending anybody by gang colors. And there are Indian colors. But unless you're worried about Sitting Bull getting real pissed off and coming after you, I don't think you're going to have a problem with that. The other thing is, if you see work by other recognized artists, do me a favor, don't copy it. And if you do, don't tell them I told you to take a look at their work. Other artists sell that stuff, and a certain degree of uniqueness is critical to have good sales. So now, we've detailed it out. We look along and make sure there are no holidays that pop up. Keeping it clean is critical, and sealing is next. I think we're going to seal this thing. See what we can do. Let me show you something that's always handy around the shop. This is from the Ace Hardware store. Krylon Glossy Clear. It dries quick. It's a good sealer for projects like this because you don't want it to run. You don't want to rub it in. You're only putting a quick coat on that can be covered with other products. So it's a rattle can also. So just lightly. Watch these colors pop. I think you can see this. Again, look at that ambrosia. Don't go too heavy, but that's with a whole lot of light. But look at it. Oh, is that not looking good? With the ambrosia in it. Now this dries in about 10 minutes. Now what I would do, let me talk about this for a minute. What I would do is spray this on, let it cure about 10 minutes. Take a golden scrubby I get from Vince Welsh, Vince's Wood Wonders, and lightly knock the fuzz off. Just the fuzz. And then wait a few minutes, dust it off, and hit it with another coat. And then I would top it with something later. I'm going to read this and see what I can top it with. I did a little reading. I've put 3 coats on, and I've buffed between each coat using that Scotch-Brite pad now. And I really like the sheen it's getting. According to the can and a website, I can put any Krylon coating I want over this, so I can just keep buffing it out and building it up, and I'll end up with a really nice looking piece. But you can see the color started to pop once I started sealing it. Now, I measured it, and this ugly part down here, a lot of that can go away. I'm actually about 3/4 of an inch deep at the center. So what I'm going to do is put it in a set of Longworth jars. And someone gave this to me, one of my students, destroyed. I mean destroyed my Longworth. But this is Ron Brown's Best. And it's sized. I wish he'd bought the right size, because I would have went for the 20 or 24 inch. but these are beautifully made. I can build my own, but hey, if he's going to pay for it, I'll let it go. Now what I do here, put it in this chuck, and then I measure from here to the face of my center, not the revolving center, to the tailstock, to the face of it. A fixed point. I take that measurement, very exact. Then when I start removing that bottom, I can keep referencing back to that measurement, and I'll know when I get to the right thickness. So I don't have to take it off and put a set of calipers on it, which could scratch it. Putting caliper on the outside of something can leave scratches. Be careful about that. What we have done today, besides just making a few shavings and coloring some parts, is we started a technique to give you a basket design on your pieces. I'd like you to try it and send me some photographs at my email address, eddiecastelin@cox.net, and show me some of the pieces you've made. I really think you're going to like this technique, and I'm glad I can share it with you. I'm going to use it on some other stuff, and then I'll share that with you. So until next time, I'm Captain Eddie Castellin, and we've been making shavings. Now hold on. Before the phone starts ringing off the hook, and you do call a lot, but that's okay. At the end of the video, I'm going to have a screen up with all the items we talked about. From the Ron Brown's Best to the Prismacolor pens to the beading tools that I get from D-Way Tools to where the wood comes from. All that, I'm going to put all that on one screen, the tools that we've used today. And what the links are where you can go find them at. I think that'll help you in your shopping, okay? And getting into more projects. You take care. I'll see you soon. Who knew? Hey, I hope that list of sources helped you out. I always get those questions. Where can you get this? Where can you get that? I have information on my website, and a lot of folks miss going there. But if you go to my website, check out the Cutters Only page. I have got carbide cutters to fit almost everybody's tool. Almost everybody's tool. So all you need to do is measure your cutter first. And then go to my Cutters Only page and look for it. It's there. Now, if you don't measure your cutters and you call me and say, I need a CI, B, or A, or J, or K, or I can't help you. I cannot sell replacement cutters for those models. I've got better cutters, cheaper, of exactly the same size, that work on their tools. But I can't tell you that it replaces that model number. That wouldn't be right. But it does. All you have to do, measure your cutters, check my page. All right? Hope that helps you out. See you soon. Just about time you thought you'd escape. No. I'm back to remind you about the Freedom Pens Project. Freedom Pens, it's your opportunity to turn pens for our troops. Yeah, Freedom Pens is a not-for-profit organization. We have a team called Team Blackhawk. We turned a lot of pens, over 12,000 pens so far. And that's only a little bit, and 170,000 pens been turned for our troops. But you can be part of that number. If you want to be involved in Freedom Pens, you drop me an email at this address, eddiecastelin@cox.net. I'll take care of it. I'll put you in touch with Sergeant Joe Kelly. Joe tell you how you get the kits and what do you do with the pens and everything else. And guess what Joe will tell you? Whenever you do it, you kind of get a warm feeling right here that only Freedom Pens and cheap tacos can give you. All right. Drop me a note you want to be involved. Take care.